Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. My name is Taryn and this is a part of my TarynInspired series that I'm doing here on my platform. I'm not sure how long I'm gonna continue this series, but just know on top of being a mommy vlogger, I am a single mom of a beautiful baby girl. On top of that, I also like to inspire and encourage other women, other humans. So this is what this series is a part of, and I hope this is blessing people in different ways that they need to be blessed. So if you clicked on this video, obviously this is my testimony video, how I basically got to where I am. And I don't know what took me so long to ever make this video, you guys. I really don't know. To be quite honest with you, I've been doing YouTube off and on for like 4 years, but it wasn't until about a year ago that I actually took it seriously. So I don't know why that I haven't made this video. And I was actually speaking with a woman that, she's an amazing woman. If you're watching this, hey. And I sent her my last video about healing, and she called me and she's like, Taryn, this is amazing. This is, ministering to me in, different ways. And she was basically like, but where's the beginning? And at first I didn't quite understand, what she meant by that. And I just had to go back and I was like, thinking and praying, where's the beginning? And then the Holy Spirit was like, where did it start, Taryn? How did you get to this point? You gotta tell the beginning. You need to tell the story from the start. And I was like, oh snap, I didn't post my testimonial video, which I had never thought of. When I come in contact with people, I tell them sometimes depending on if I feel led to, but other than that, I don't really talk about it. And I guess that not give people clarification on why I go so hard for Christ, why that is all I live for Christ. People don't understand any of it. So this is that video. This is the testimony video, and I didn't write anything down. I don't know how long this video gonna be, so please bear with your girl. Bear with your girl. I just want to start from the beginning. So I didn't grow up in a Christian household. I didn't grow up as a Christian. My dad was Christian. My mom grew up, Southern Baptist. They both grew up very differently. So in my household, it depended on who we were with. That's what we told people we were. So say for instance, my dad took us to the doctor or the emergency room or anything, and my mom stayed home, we were Christians. And say for instance, if my mom took us to the emergency room or the doctor or wherever, we were Southern Baptist. So I was very confused. I knew that we were supposed to read the Holy Bible. That's as far as I knew anything about. That's kind of it. And as a kid growing up, you're like, okay, what is going on? I don't even know what any of this means. We didn't go to church. So to add on top of the confusion of my parents saying that, my mom saying we're Southern Baptist, my dad saying we're Christian, and on top of we don't go to church, not even for holidays, I was extremely confused on what was going on. I'm like, whatever, it just is what it is. So that was pretty much my whole childhood. I wanted to know God, I wanted to understand, but when you don't have a household that is teaching that, it's kind of okay, so I don't know anything. I'm just going with the flow at this point. I don't have any principles really to live by. And then seeing how toxic my parents were, it just what is this? I don't know if this is making sense, but it was just very confusing to watch and try to understand. Like, I didn't have a role model of what, you know, a good relationship was, or what a good marriage was, or a good household was. I just knew that everything I was living through as a child was nothing I wanted. Like, I wanted family, I wanted, you know, to be married one day, I wanted kids, I wanted all of that. But what I was living in, I didn't want any of that. I didn't want how I was raised. I didn't want that. Not to say, I feel like my parents tried, but they also didn't have the proper bringing up either. So it was definitely a generational curse. But listen, see, God sent moi to be like, devil, we not doing that no more. The chains have been broken, okay? But anyway, we'll get to that part. So that was kind of my upbringing. That's my background. I didn't grow up in a Christian household. I grew up with both my parents. My parents were married for like 20-some years. I grew up with my siblings, my brother and sisters, just so household of 5. That's how I grew up. That's all I really know. On top of being a military brat, so we moved a lot. So I've been around different cultures. I've been around different, you know, all of that. Lived in different states, all of that. So fast forward to when it's time for me to develop relationships, like, how to put this, relational relationships, so like romantic relationships. I didn't know how to do that, the proper means of any of that at all. Had no guidance, no instruction. And I feel like as a child, you need that structure to know what you're doing and what you should allow, what you shouldn't allow, and everything. And so I'm gonna just start with my first real relationship. He was my boyfriend, I was his girlfriend, and I will say it was a big toxic, not in the sense that he put his hands on me or anything crazy like that, but, you know, verbally we tore each other down. Mind you, this is high school, and we tore each other down. We weren't as good to each other as we should have been. And so after that relationship ended, it just pretty much continued on into my adulthood. So after that relationship ended, then I got with my ex-husband. So pretty much, I would say within like a 6-month span, I'll go from this to now I'm married and I'm someone's wife and I'm living with this person and I have no idea what's going on. I'm there, but I'm broken and things are going on in my marriage and in the situation, and I'm like, I don't like this. Like, I don't like this, and I don't really want to be a part of it. So I'll be quite honest, what pretty much drew me more to my husband, my ex-husband, not that I really per se liked how he was living at the time, I liked his foundational. So his mother was a Christian, his sisters were Christian, and I knew that was his foundation, that he grew up going to church and, you know, he knew scripture, and I was just like more attracted to that, and I wanted to know more about God, but I didn't know how to get there. So I clung to that, like, okay, yeah, I know what he's doing right now, but, you know, he has the foundation and da-da-da-da and making all these excuses, but whatever. So I clung to that, knowing that I don't even come from a Christian household, but that's what I was trying to achieve. But anyway, so needless to say, the marriage didn't work out. I am divorced. I've been divorced 4 years. December 2020 will make 4 years. So I don't know when you're watching this, what year it is, what day it is, but December 2020 will make it 4 years I've been divorced. But anyway, so backtrack to kind of my marriage and how things became even more toxic and destructive. We moved in together I want to say very soon. We moved in together, and to me, I didn't know any better. I thought that's just what people did, was moving together and they're supposed to be together, and that's how, again, like, I'm just going off the seat of my pants. I really don't know what's going on. So we move in together. A month after we move in together, we get married. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, we're married. We get married. The next month, I'm pregnant. I'm like, okay, we're married, we live together, I'm pregnant. Okay, this is a lot going on at once, at one single time. So let's be clear. My ex-husband had been unfaithful prior to us getting married, prior to us moving in together. He had already been unfaithful, and I knew about it. So you get what you get. Then after we get married, me being so ignorant, me not really understanding marriage or anything, I took marriage seriously, but I didn't understand it. So it's kind of like, you know, your walk with, or how to explain this? It's kind of like when you meet God, like, you know God exists, you know certain things, and you take him seriously, you fear him, but you don't understand. You don't understand why you should, right? So it's kind of like that. So, like I said, he was unfaithful. Knew that before we got married. I was young, immature. We got married at 19 years old. So I'm 25, gonna be 26 soon. So he was unfaithful, and I thought, you know, marriage, things would change. We got a baby on the way. Absolutely not. It just escalated. Things got worse. Things got horrible. I'll be quite honest with you. Bailey, the pregnancy I had with Bailey, y'all, it was horrible. I don't want to bash him at all, but if you want to talk about abuse, emotional abuse, that's what I was going through, pretty much. And then I'm going through this pregnancy alone, but we're married. And so it's just terrible. I'm gonna say it like that. It was awful, it was terrible. And I was in a very, very dark place, like being pregnant, being by myself. And I ain't gonna cry, cause being by myself, and I'm just like, wow, like, he doesn't care, like, and me not having anything to cling to. So a few months down the line, I actually found out about his mistress, found out that she was pregnant, and I'm like, wow, like, I'm pregnant, I'm married, and my husband got somebody else pregnant. And so we're pregnant at the same time. Like, I'm 5 months, you know, more pregnant, but still, we're pregnant at the same time. And it's all over social media. Like, I start to slip in this super, super dark place where it's like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. I don't want to live. And mind you, I'm pregnant, y'all. I'm pregnant. Like, I was always left in the apartment alone. So I'm maxing out credit cards. Like, I'm alone. I have no one to talk to about this. I'm embarrassed because everybody on Facebook know, literally. Because neither one of them were keeping it a secret. They were literally telling everybody. And so I'm embarrassed, I'm ashamed, I'm alone, I'm maxing out credit cards. And so I was living in Killeen at the time, and I was literally driving back and forth to my parents' house like almost every other day. Like, so I wouldn't be alone. And so, yeah, like, it was to a point I'm driving, and from Austin to Killeen, it's about an hour. It's about an hour drive, 45 minutes, depends on traffic and everything. I'm driving, and I'm just driving in the car, and I'm like, I want to let go of the wheel. Like, I just want to let go of the wheel. And I'd rather it take both of us. That's how dark and depressed I was. And I don't really tell anybody that, so I'm shocked I'm telling y'all this, but I kind of feel like my testimony can save somebody. But yeah, I'm pregnant. I look awful, like sickly, but pregnant, because I'm going through stress. I'm about to bring this child into the world pretty much by myself, because the other party is partying, gone, doesn't care. So yeah, mind you, like, I'm driving back and forth, and I've had that thought a couple of times. Like, this is too much for me. I felt like I was in high school with all the nonsense and drama that was going on. And I'm like, I could have sworn, granted I was only 19, but I was like, I could have sworn I wasn't in high school no more. Like, why am I going through this? Like, she laughing, thinking it's cute, my husband cheating on me, and like, it's just a mess. And I'm like, people are actually like rooting for her, and I'm like, I'm married, but somehow I'm being dragged and talked about like I'm the one who slept. Like, I just did not understand it. I was like, this is terrible. So this is crazy, but I will say, I forgot what day it was. Maybe it was like before I found out about the mistress, but I remember going to my parents' house. So I had been feeling lonely even before I found out about him cheating during the marriage. So I remember I was pregnant. I went to my parents' house. It was late. Because him and his friend had went to a Kevin Gates concert in Austin. We live in Clean, but my parents lived in Austin. So he was saying that, anyway, so I had drove to my parents' house or whatever, and somehow we met up. And I remember I was talking to my dad, and I was sitting on the couch. I'm pregnant, I'm annoyed. I don't even think I was that far along. And I'm talking to him, and I was like, yep, got married at 19. I was 20, yeah, pregnant at 20. We're gonna be divorced by I'm 21. And I'm saying this to my dad. Like, this is before I really understood life and death in the tongue. So I'm telling them, I'm like, yep, daddy, I'm gonna be divorced by I'm 21. I'm gonna write a book about it. I'm saying, like, let's think, y'all, I'm about to be 26 now, and I'm saying this prior to, you know, me knowing anything at all. So yeah, that was just a little extra information. So back to what I was talking about. Yeah, I was in a very dark place. And then on top of that, I think I had left Colleen for like a week, maybe even 2 weeks, and I stayed at my parents' house because he wasn't there. He would leave me all the time anyway. So I had finally came back and was like, okay, like, I'm married, I'm pregnant. We gotta like really figure this out. And I came back and he had moved in a bunch of people. I'm not even joking. Like, it was low-key a trap house. I was like, who are all these men in my apartment? What is going on? Like, real high school trap house type stuff. What is going on? So that made me feel really uncomfortable. I was like, I cannot do this. So what ended up happening was, when I decided I was leaving, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go stay with his mom. We had grew like a relationship. Like, I was going over there more often. I was like, I just feel more comfortable going over there. So she knew everything that was going on, because I would tell her. Like, I literally moved in with his mom, I want to say for about a month. I moved in there for about a month, and I was basically transitioning, getting ready to move and leave him. But I didn't want to stay at the apartment because he was bringing all these people in and out of the apartment. So I went to go live with his mom. And his mom is, like I said, a Christian woman. They went to church every Sunday, type of, she sung in the choir. And so I would say she played a huge, huge role into me becoming who I am today. Because if she had not introduced me to Christ and shared her testimony with me in that time, I wouldn't have leaned on Christ. I wouldn't even know really who he was. Like, oh, that's a great idea, I heard about him. But if I didn't like have somebody ministering me and covering me and being there for me, and I know it sounds crazy because it was her son causing all the trauma, but if I hadn't had her, I don't know if I would really be here. Like, you know, it was kind of like the jump start to where I am today. So I was going to church with her every single Sunday. I was going to Bible study with her every Wednesday, or was it Tuesday? Whenever Bible study was, like, I was going faithfully with her. If she wanted to do her choir practices, I was going to church with her. I was always at church with her. And you know, his sisters, because at the time his sisters were still really young. I think one was like in 8th grade and one was like a 9th grader or something like that. Like, they were kids, they were babies. So was I, but whatever. So I was always in church. And you know, this is back before, I think, was there a Bible app like 5 years ago? I don't know. But you know, I'll bring my Bible and, you know, bring my paper and take notes. And y'all, I didn't even know where Genesis was in the Bible, like, or where anything was in the Bible, like New Testament, Old Testament. I didn't even know there was any of that. And she would help me through that. She was like, when they would say open your Bible to blah blah blah, I'd be like, Miss Tammy, where is that? And she would open my Bible and she would, you know, she would do all that. So I'm very, very grateful for her. We of course had our like little ins and outs, but the basis of it, she accepted me in her home. She basically helped me find Christ. And I needed that. I truly, truly needed that. So, fast forward, I was leaving his mom's house and I was gonna go move back in with my parents. And I'm still pregnant at this time, y'all. I wanna say this maybe was like July, or maybe, this was 2015, so it was a long time ago. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and leave. Like, I was trying to like just give up the relationship. So like I said, I had already been packing up the apartment. I moved, well, people helped me move, but I moved and then everything back to my parents.